Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about third-party controllers. You know, those ones that are supposed to be similar to the genuine articles but are terrible and you end up giving them to your friends or to your little brother. Yep, well today we're going to be taking a look at one of those, and it is this, the Fighter 2 pad by Dragon. Yep, I never heard of it before and you probably never had. These came out on the Mega Drive. They also did ones for the Super Nintendo and pretty much every machine in the 90s. So we're going to be taking this apart and we're going to have a little look at it. So let's get cracking. So here we have it, the Dragon Fighter 2 pad for the Sega Mega Drive. And obviously Fighter 2 pad, if you're thinking Street Fighter 2, yep, you're exactly right. They brought this in with the 6-button idea, basically with a turbo as well, so that you could play it on Street Fighter and potentially have an advantage, and probably more not, and end up be better with a 3-button controller instead. We're going to have a little look around the box. So the box is very, very basic. As you can see, there's not much written on it. It tells the basic functions. So you've got 6 independent fire buttons, compatible with normal Mega Drive games, I would hope so. Mode switching, turbo for all buttons, and turbo for all buttons. I wonder if that means up, down, left and right. I don't believe it does. Slow motion control as well. This had no instructions and it cost $12.99. To be honest, I'm glad that I got this for free. Let's have a look at the little inlay. So they put these little bits hidden underneath the inlay, so you've got to lift them out. Owing to our policy of continuing improvement designs and specifications, they are subject to alteration without notice. Sorry, that was very terrible to read. I was trying to read it through the viewfinder and the light decided to suddenly go all very white. So, yeah, you'll see why that is a complete and utter fib. Because I guarantee that this thing does not look entirely like this. I mean, it's similar, but not quite. And you'll see why when we take it out. So, yeah, on the other side it has the Made of Philippines and a lot of the registered trademarks explaining Sega's registered trademark, and Fighter 2 is of Capcom. So let's take this out of its little box. It's a very cheap little box, and we'll have a look at it. So here is the actual controller. Now, if I put that down there and unravel this, and you take a look at that, and you tell me what is different between those. Well, you've got the dots at the bottom, that's all very well. But what the hell is this thing? And what the hell is that? You know, it doesn't explain that anywhere. And as you can see, yeah, it's just, it's very, very, very cheap. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go get a screwdriver and we're going to take this thing apart. Right, I'm back with the screwdriver. Ta-da! Okay, right, let's move that little box out of the way so we can take this apart. Okay. So, I'm not expecting much inside this, to be completely honest. I'm expecting maybe a small, cheap logic chip, and that's a screw just gone flying, but I will pick that up. It's okay, it's a laminate floor. Okay, let's take these out. Yeah. Probably notice these very weird little indents that it has at the back. They're very similar to what you'd expect on like a cartridge. It's very, very bizarre design, isn't it? Anyway, we need to carry on with doing the rest of the screws. So let's get on with that. It's very warm weather here at the moment, so my room is rather warm. I don't want to put a fan on because otherwise that would be picked up on the noise on the camera. So let's just empty these screws out on the floor. Make sure they all pop out. And no, 2 have decided to stick in. Right, come on. The old tap doesn't work, so I guess we need to use the screwdriver a little more. There we go. Get that one out. No, this one's decided he wants to stay in. Now he's out. Okay, just put those screws aside just a second. And let's take the back off and see what we have. So, I'm going to put it this way so the buttons don't go flying. And, oh dear, there we go. Now that's very, very basic. You've got this massively long, oversized circuit board, which is unnecessarily oversized. You really could have just shrunk it down to a small one and saved a lot of money, but I guess they decided it was just easier to make a much bigger one. A very, very basic input on the back, and what looks through from this side, is it? Yeah, so basically what they've done, that's the back, so you can see all the buttons are in there. We will just put that aside for a second because that's not particularly interesting. Let's have a look at this side of the circuit board. So what we got? Yep, we've got a big blob behind the back, which I assume is the logic controller for this type of one. A lot of ones tend to do that with the cheap third-party ones. All the traces are nice. I mean, they're nice and open and easy to get to. Very, very unusual, these ones, these little square ones. I mean, quite often Mega Drive ones tend to look more like these. It's unusual to see these little square ones. That's very, very strange. But yeah, the weirdest thing is these jumpers on the back that have been wired through, and then they bridge the gaps in between these contacts. It's very, very strange. You're never going to find that in a genuine licensed controller. But yeah, you can see it's literally like paper thin wafer board. It's very, very cheap circuit board. I mean, even for the time, this is cheap circuit board. This is something I would expect maybe from something that was made, I don't know, 10 years earlier than this. Say like 1982, 1983, I would expect like this kind of circuitry. But not for something that was made in 1991, 1992, like this is. I assume it's 1992 because obviously Street Fighter came out then. Street Fighter 2 to be precise. But yeah, so basically you can see that's the board, and I'm not even going to take these off because it'd be a fiddly bugger to get back on. And let's have a little look again at the back of this. So actually, let's have a little look, see exactly when this was made. Do you know what? I was absolutely and utterly wrong. This is actually made in 1995, and that just makes it even worse considering that the Saturn was out then. Oh, dearie, dearie me. But yeah, there's really not a lot to look at in here, I'll be honest. There's a couple of these little weird contact switches that they could have done as just single button design like these. But hey, what can you do? So that basically is it. I suppose I better reassemble this, and I guess that fixes that. So that's the controller all put back together. Yeah, I mean, if you look straight away, you can see how much of a design difference there was between this and this. You've got these weird little plug plastic bits to do absolutely nothing. You've got buttons on the front here that never existed on the box design. I mean, how many revisions could they have possibly made of this controller in such a short time? It makes you really wonder. But yeah, I guess so that's going to be about it for today's video. And thank you very much for watching, and take care until next time.